Hi, Tom.
How you doing?
So why don't you just introduce yourself and let us know what kind of issues that brought you to our office?
Okay, my name is Tommy. I'm 27 years old, and I've had ulcerative colitis since I was 19. That's when I was first diagnosed. Basically that's inflammation of the colon, bowel problems, all that good stuff.
So how is it impacting your life?
At first, just started going to the bathroom a lot. Some nausea, pain, and I didn't really know what was going on. I went to the doctor, and he said, I went to my family doctor, and he kind of had an idea, and he said, well, you got to see a specialist. So I went to a specialist. Specialist said, yeah, I think you might have ulcerative colitis. The only way to confirm that was you got to get a colonoscopy. And at that time, being 19, I thought, well, only my grandparents get those. So, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. It sounds a little bit more serious, but whatever, Got a colonoscopy, and that kind of confirmed it. And, the doctor said, well, this is what you have. I said, okay, so, what do we do? I take some medicine, I'll be better in a month, right? And he said, no, I'm going to prescribe you some pills, and you're going to have to take them for the rest of your life. And I thought, I don't want to do that. I'm 19 years old. I never really had to take pills for anything my whole life. So, what is all this?
Right.
And basically, that's all the information I got out of him. Was you have this, take these pills, I'll see you later. And that didn't really sit well with me. I didn't really like that because, that's all the information I had. And I basically had to educate myself on my own about what's wrong with me, what other treatment options there are, things like that. So started taking the medicine, and didn't get better. In fact, it got worse. Worse and worse and worse. Because part of the advice that I received was that take the pills, and you can basically live your life the exact same as you're living right now. All you have to do is just take pills. And, that sounds great. A lot of people...
Sounds
say,
easy.
Yeah, that sounds easy. Cool. I'm going to do that. Well, got worse. Pills didn't even seem to work. Nothing seemed to work. So my family and I talked about it. We started looking for alternative treatments. Talked to a lot of people that we found had this similar disease, which is, a lot more people have bowel problems than you think about. They just don't talk about it just because of the nature of the symptoms and everything that goes on about it.
Right.
But I figured, what? I don't care. I'm sick. Why, I'm going to find out about it. Why hide it? I want to get better. That was my ultimate goal. Like, I don't want this.
Right.
I don't want to live my life feeling sick, going to the bathroom all the time.
How many times a day?
The worst, probably when I was at the sickest, I'd say around 40.
Wow.
40 to 50 times. There was times where I'd get up in the morning, and I'd leave my house for work at about 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'd get up about 5:30. Immediately have to go to the bathroom, which usually that's kind of normal. But then 5 minutes later, I have to go to the bathroom again. Like, oh, that right there kind of cuts into my time of getting ready. So a lot of times before I'd leave the house. Be about up to about 5 times.
Wow.
I'd have to go to the bathroom. It's like, this is not normal. Try to get to work as fast as possible. I worked about 10 miles away, and when rush hour traffic in the morning seemed like 100 miles sometimes. Get to work, start for maybe 10 minutes or so. Have to go to the bathroom.
So your whole day is interrupted with...
Exactly.
Hard to keep your train of thought going and all that kind of stuff.
And some days I would leave work, just because I was going to the bathroom too much. And, and there was a few instances where I got there and have to turn around and go home.
Wow.
It's like, I'm too sick to do anything, So that went on for a few months. And after talking with my parents, like, we got to find, different kind of treatments. So we looked kind of the more natural way of things, vitamins, supplements, changing diet, things like that, because it never really stuck with me that I could just keep eating everything I was eating and it not affect me, because this is my colon, this is my stomach, this is everything that processes my food, everything that goes in my body.
Right.
So it's like, how can what I'm eating not affect that at all? Like, that didn't make any sense whatsoever. But that was basically what I was told by all my traditional medicine doctors. So, and my diet pretty much consisted of pizza, Taco Bell, and McDonald's. Those were like my 3 favorite foods.
Yay.
Yeah, and that's what I ate almost every day. Spaghetti, meat sauce, pastas, everything. Pretty much things that didn't have the most nutritional value at all,
right,
if any. Drank pop all day. I'd have water when I took my pill. That was about it.
Yeah.
So, found a homeopathic doctor that treated cases like this. He was out in Farmington. Went and saw him, and he said, "Hey, you got to stop fast food. It's got to end right away. You got to eat vegetables, fruits, meats, healthy stuff, and that's it. You got to change your diet. You got to take, these supplements, things like this to get the nutrients back in your body. You got to drink water, no more pop, nothing." And I'm like, well, okay, this kind of sucks. But then I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it because nothing else worked. So what do I have to lose? I'm already sick, and obviously this stuff isn't going to make me any more sick. I didn't have anywhere to go but up,
right,
basically. So started doing that and saw a change. Started exercising. That was another thing. I never exercised, things like that. I was overweight. As you can imagine, just with my diet, my lifestyle, I'd go to work, come home, play video games, sit around. I didn't do anything. Let's be honest. So started down that path, and things started to change. Started feeling better. Started losing weight. Started feeling pretty good, and it's like, okay, there's definitely something to this. Got more into it. Got more information. Talked to a lot of people that have went this way and started feeling better. Things like that. I'm like, all right, this is great. Feeling good. So after a couple years of that, my symptoms, had subsided a lot. They were still there. It wasn't quite, totally fine or things like that. I couldn't really, be comfortable with the fact that, I'll be totally better and, I can go back to my old ways or whatever. But I ended up getting comfortable with everything. So with that came, oh, you know what, I can eat this and I'll be okay. I'll just have it once a month or whatever. I kind of loosened the strings on things. And so that became, well, I can have some pop, I can have some beer here, and I'll be okay. I'll make it up the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll make it up the next week. Or I'll exercise a little bit better, or I'll take double the dose of my vitamins or whatever. And surprise, surprise, that doesn't really happen. That doesn't help. That doesn't.
So you
can't do it.
You had a little bit of relapse.
So I got comfortable, had a little bit of a relapse, and thought, well, that was kind of stupid. All the hard work I did put into it just kind of wiped out. And as I was getting older, this is probably about 22. I'd say this was about 3 years. Just started finding out that it takes longer and longer to recover, and that kind of wasn't fun.
No.
And so that kind of went on. I went back and forth with that approach for a few years. So probably till I was about 24, things like that. I kept at it, but I always kind of let things slip. I never went fully like 100%, and ended up in the hospital with a really bad flare-up, inflammation in like my entire colon. I thought I was gonna die. Couldn't eat. Couldn't do anything. At that point, I was going to the bathroom a ton of times. Then when I got sick, I had so much inflammation that my colon was almost like just choking itself. I couldn't go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And because I couldn't go to the bathroom, that's how I knew I had such a severe problem, because I was so used to everything else and being sick. All of a sudden, I can't do anything that came with my sickness in some weird way. That it's like, something's seriously wrong. So ended up in the hospital. Was in there for a few days. Had me on IVs, things like that, and some powerful anti-inflammatories. And symptoms subsided. Got released. Stayed on the anti-inflammatories for a couple months. All the side effects that went along with that, just terrible. I got all puffy, gained weight. I'd be up all night, things like that.
So it was like a prednisone type.
It was prednisone,
yeah.
And just made me feel like out of my head. I felt like a different person, just totally crazy. But on the other hand, you didn't have any colitis symptoms.
Right. So like,
you felt fine.
Do I feel like crazy, or do I go to the bathroom all the time?
Right. So that was like
great choices.
Yeah. It's be sick in the mind and everything else, and not sick in your problem, or go back to it. So was on those for a few months, and got off those, and sure enough, everything just came right back. And I was still like not 100% into it, and from 25 to about a year ago, I was kind of in between things, like, okay, maybe this is my life. I'd be out with my friends and feel sick, everybody's out, we're all having fun. I'm a young guy, so we'd go out, into bars and restaurants and things like that, and I wouldn't eat, certain things because I already knew it bothered me, and I just couldn't partake in all the group stuff. I used to go to concerts all the time. Almost every night of the week I'd be doing something, and then that kind of changed to being home, sitting there, had my friends over, we'd play video games, and in between all that stuff, I'd have to get up and go to the bathroom, twice in an hour, the span of 3 hours, probably 4 or 5 times, and that was like, this just sucks, this is not the way to live.
Right.
My whole day, I can't go 5 hours without going to the bathroom, more than 3 times. It still affected my work. I had changed jobs by that time, so I was doing something else, and still get sick in the morning, things like that. I have to go to the bathroom a ton of times, interrupt my work, things like that, and I was just getting tired of it. I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. Basically, this is, I'm 25. This is not, I'm supposed to be out doing things, being active, building my life instead of keeping it at the same level. So, started, basically got fed up with that. I kept talking with my parents about, different things. We felt like we've tried, everything we could, in a sense that we knew about. And my mom was talking to some family friends who had come to Dr. Johnson, and they said, they had really good results with their daughter, and why not just try it? And my mom had ran into Dr. Johnson, I believe,
twice.
At Chipotle, and he said, "Yeah, I can help him. I can help." She kind of mentioned what was wrong with me. So she came running home one day and told me, and I said, "Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I have nothing else to lose. I can only get better. That's it." And by that time, it's like 25 years old, 26, however old I was, and I got, this is the rest of my life. I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting sicker, and by this point, up until I think I first came to you in May, I believe, or April, for something, and I was in a bad spot. I was getting really sick. I could tell, like, it was not going well. I was going to the bathroom a ton. It was not quality, I'd say. I was headed back to the hospital. I knew.
Right.
If I didn't do something different, I was headed back to the hospital. Because a few months before that, I went to the doctor, and I got some prednisone, which usually almost overnight clears it up. and it lasts for about a month, and then it comes back. But I started taking those pills, and that wasn't clearing up. So I was getting a little bit scared. Like, here's my last resort safety net, and that's not working. Like, something major is going on. So I said, all right, go to Dr. Johnson. Talked to Dr. Johnson. Told him just told him everything that happened. You just be honest about it. Tell him everything. There's no reason to be self-conscious or whatever. And by this time, I definitely wasn't. So told him everything. He said, all right, well, this is what we do. First, we establish our baselines, our testing. We take blood. We do all these. Just really, to me, seemed kind of out there tests. I put on these goggles and spun around. I think I spun around.
Yeah.
And just all
check
these
your nervous system.
Yeah, check my nervous, my brain based. I think you called it things like that. And I kind of thought, seems a little out there, but this is a different approach, and I'm going to do it. Like, why not? And I'm going to do it 100%. and that was the biggest key, I think, was the commitment, because it's a lifestyle change. You can't do this 99% of the time. You have to do it 100% of the time. And I was ready, and that's important for the doctor and the treatment, because he can give you all the information, tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, everything. But you still have to do it.
Right.
You have to do it all the way, and that's the most important part. So, and I told people that when they asked me about what I'm doing and things like that, they're like, "Oh, isn't that hard to do?" And to eat all this, like this and that. And I said, "Well, yeah, it is, but you got to understand, like, it's harder on me to be sick. Like, this is." Not that bad, just, to try this, it's like, I'm committing to changing my life, and I'm fine with that. Like, you have to be at that place to do it. Like if you're going to come in here and be like, oh, okay, I'll try for a few months. Well, you're not going to see results in a month or two at all, and I was prepared for that, because your body has to recognize how to be well again.
Right.
And that was a big thing. So,
and I think one of the things I used to tell people, even before we commenced the test, I said, I tell them about myself,
right,
and what I had to do, and are you ready and willing to do those things? And if you're not, don't even bother getting the test.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you're going to spend money and not get any benefit from it.
Right, yeah. And I was at that point that it's like, it's either I'm going to end up in the hospital, stay sick the rest of my life, or take charge and get better.
Take charge of your health. There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
So, got all these tests done, and then I had to get all these blood tests. I said, okay, I'm more familiar with that, because I've gotten blood tests for this all the time, this and that, and so I went to the Quest diagnostic place, and the lady's looking at the form. She's like, wow. And I said, oh, yeah? Oh, you're going to get like 17 vials of blood taken out. I'm like, oh, really? I'm used to just, one and done. That's it. She's like, no, these are a lot. I'm like, okay, all right. So just taking all this blood and ship off all the things. And the one thing I liked about it is how much you had to do for yourself. Like, you had to go to the places, then you had to pack them up and ship everything, and I think that was good to see what exactly goes into everything, and how critical these tests are, and just getting them done, getting them to where they need to be, and all that. I really liked that. Like, it gave me a real good sense of control, especially at the beginning of all this stuff.
And then you're using very specific labs, because only certain labs know how to do the test correctly.
Right.
To find out what's really going on.
Right. And the one thing I was tested for was gluten and gluten sensitivity, and up until that point, I never heard about it. I had no idea what gluten was. Didn't care. Never really thought I would ever have to know. Well, came back that I couldn't have it. Through all this testing.
So genetically, you, like myself, it had the gluten and or celiac gene, or both.
Yep.
And that's something that you can't change about yourself.
Exactly.
It's your genetics. Like, you can't make your blue eyes brown.
Exactly. And it all kind of made sense that I kind of had this gene and I couldn't eat it because, up until that point, every time I ate anything really, I would feel sick, lethargic within, 10 minutes of eating it. I'd be passed out asleep. And that's how I was living my life. I'd eat a meal, be like, oh, I got to go to bed. Sleep for, take a nap, sleep for, an hour or two and wake up and still feel, terrible, but, a little bit better. But that was all the, and I was like, all my brain processes were slow from the gluten. All the inflammation that was in my gut was going everywhere else as well now. And it was slowing everything down. I was extremely lethargic. I was exhausted all the time. Never had any energy to do anything. Didn't want to do anything, but eat. And that was it. And that's what was making me sick. So, thinking about it, all the traditional doctors telling me you can eat whatever you want, you'll be fine. And now I'm getting that, you can't eat all these foods because of this ingredient, and that's what's, I don't know if it was killing me, but it was making me sick. And I felt like and I knew if I kept going down this path, it eventually probably would lead into something else, and it probably would kill me.
Well, yeah. Well, what happens is people end up having their intestines removed, and eventually maybe a bag on the outside.
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy.
And you know what? I saw my GI doctor, and he's after I got out of the hospital, and one of the comments he made, like right away, not even. Okay, let's try something else or whatever. He said, well, we can talk surgery if you want. I'm like, you want to take out a piece of my colon, if not the whole thing? That's not going to work. That's not for me. So my ultimate goal was right then and there to never have surgery, and to accomplish that, I had to change everything about my life.
Right.
So, Dr. Johnson said, "Okay, here's our protocol, our treatment plan for what you have. We're going to treat everything that's coming out on these results, and here's all the good foods you can eat, and here's everything you can't eat." And I think the best way that I looked at it was looking at here's a whole booklet of things I can eat. Like who cares about things I can't eat anymore? That's not what you want to focus on.
Right.
Because the things you can't eat were making you sick, were in a sense killing me. So I said, all right, I'm just going to throw that out. I'm not even going to worry about it because I can already figure it out. All the things that I can't eat, of course, are all the best things, all the good stuff. But
all the stuff we're used to,
cakes,
right?
candies, pies, stuff like that. But I had to get in that mindset that instead of food being, the number one thing, always thinking about it, like, oh, what am I going to have for my next meal? You kind of have to look at it as a tool. It's just fuel. That's all it is. Like, your body doesn't know if you're eating 10 pounds of hamburger or 10 pounds of cake. It's just going to see it as an influx of something bad for you or something good for you and treat it how it's going to treat it,
Yeah, I often say you have to eat to live and not live to eat.
Exactly. And I was definitely ready to do that. So got my list of things, and it was fruits, vegetables, certain fruits, certain vegetables, and certain meats. And I thought, oh, okay, I can do this. This is not bad. So I started. I think I got my treatment plan on when did I come in? Maybe it was either a weekday or a Saturday morning. I said, all right, I'm going to start on Monday. Start beginning of the week, get everything prepared, and just go from there. I went out on a Sunday, bought stuff, enough food for the next 5-7 days. Lean meats, turkey, chicken, tons of vegetables, and a bunch of fruits: peaches, strawberries, berries. And these things are really good fruit. Stuff that's good for you. And so I started on Monday. I took 2 days off of work. I said, you know what? I'll take off Monday and Tuesday, and I'm just gonna cook the food. Eat. One of the things to eat every 3 hours. Have have breakfast, then a small, snack or whatever to keep you going, lunch, then something around 3 o'clock, and then dinner. So the timing of the food was regimented to keep like my blood sugar levels in check, things like that. And so I started doing that and kept to it. And after a week, I guess this isn't too bad, this is pretty, it's manageable, I can do this. 2 weeks go by, and I started losing weight. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, and I'm eating, I'm feeling better, I'm not getting that 3 o'clock drop where I want to just go to bed, no matter what I'm doing. It's like, because a lot of times I would leave the house without eating breakfast before all this. So by that time of the day, I was just dropping off. I was done, But that stopped happening.
How about the food comas?
Yeah.
Right after you ate?
Right after I ate, I felt fine.
Good.
I could do, I didn't have to take a nap. I felt cleaner. Like everything that was going in my body was a lot cleaner. I was buying organic, buying fresh, tried to buy local as much as I could, all that kind of stuff. And I never realized how important all that is to not have all the injected beef and the hormones and things like that. Stopped drinking dairy. Didn't have any dairy products, and just a general feeling of my body accepting everything better started to happen. So after a month, started losing more weight, started exercising, things like that, and was feeling better. But at first, I was still going to the bathroom. It still was, I guess mostly diarrhea, things like that. And I said, okay, well, I just got to stick with it. I'm not gonna let that get me down. I've been sick for years and years. I'm not gonna be better overnight, no matter what I do. And I'm not doing it with the pills. I'm doing it by changing my body and things like that. So obviously, this is not going to be an overnight sensation. This is going to be hard work on my part and commitment, most of all, to what I'm doing and what Dr. Johnson recommended. You got to go in, with that mindset. You have to. So, a month goes by. I was kind of feeling better, and at least with eating and not feeling terrible after I ate, which right there was awesome. So, another month goes by, and by this time, in a month, I think I had dropped right off the bat 20 pounds.
Wow.
Like real quick, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. If this is the side effect that I'm getting just from this, this is amazing. This is what everybody wants, and I'm eating food, good food. He gave me some recipes to try and things like that, which were amazing. I kind of lost my taste for sugars and candies, and really all I wanted to eat was peaches and strawberries because they tasted amazing. Every time I ate a piece of fruit, it was amazing. Every time I ate a salad with chicken on it, I'm like, this is the greatest salad I've ever had. Food just became just a really good source of fuel, and that's how I looked at it. I didn't think, oh, let's go to a restaurant. Oh man, I can't wait to eat tons of things because first off, I really couldn't because of the gluten thing. I was pretty much limited in going to restaurants and things like that, and I was fine with it. I would go with my friends and I would eat before I left. I would eat my food and then get there and I'd drink water and hang out. In which, at first it's like, oh, this kind of sucks because everybody's doing their thing and having fun, and I'm kind of just sitting here, doing my own thing. But sure enough, as we would leave the restaurant, all my buddies would be like, oh man, I feel so sick. Oh, I ate too much. It's like, well, you didn't really eat too much. It was what you ate. And I would tell them, this is your body telling you that this is a bad idea to keep doing this. That's basically what it is. So they're like, oh yeah, you might be right. I'm like, well, I know I'm right. It's not a matter of maybe I'm right. I am, because I've lived it.
Yeah.
And I know, Dr. Johnson's lived it, and he's telling me the exact same stuff I've been going through, that he went through, and I'm like, there's got to be a lot of truth to what's going on, especially, from, and then seeing what the traditional medical doctors told me. There's such a disconnect, and I said, well, somebody's got to be more right than the other, and I hitched my wagon to the right horse, I guess.
There you go. So how would you say your life is today now that you've made these changes, and it's been about a year?
Yeah, it's been a year, and well, all the changes, they came gradually. Okay, so I started in, I believe, May or June, and so let's go to end of August, end of the summer. The amount of times I go to the bathroom in the day has been dramatically cut down. I'd say about, I was averaging about 5 to 10 times a day, which was a significant decrease from all the years before. So, the urgency to go, has dropped and things like that. Lost a ton of weight, exercising, was able to go out and not have to worry about, is there going to be a bathroom there? Is there going to be a clean bathroom? Because, what the heck, am I going to be able to have enough energy just to hang out and not feel like I have to go to bed, at 8 o'clock at night? And so all that worrying, all that was on my mind all those years just kind of was able to float away. And I was just like, you know what? I don't need to worry about that anymore. And that was just awesome, and especially now up until this point, around Christmas time and a little bit after, I started getting sick again. But it turns out I had some kind of virus, or I had an infection. So it wasn't because I stopped doing all the stuff, because I stuck with it. Even through the holidays, and I love cookies. Those are my favorite things, but I didn't have any. My mom made me some gluten-free cookies, and I think I had maybe 3 or 4 of them, and they're all still sitting in the freezer. She made me like 4 dozen, and I probably had 4 out of the whole thing, and they're still sitting in the freezer. And
that's self-control.
But you get to that point where I it's like, is it worth it? I mean, yeah, it's good, but I'd rather have a pound of chicken than 4 cookies. I mean, that's totally just everything just changes.
It does.
Your tastes are going to change. How you view food, it's all going to change, and it has to. And that's the other thing.
Yeah. Well, I've often said that in my seminars and elsewhere, that if you're not at least a 7 out of 10, your biggest desire to get better, if you're not at least a 7, 8, or 9 or 10, you're not going to do what it takes to get better. And you were at that point, and that's what it takes. So now you're able to do the things you like to do. You've looked at food differently. You have a lifestyle change, and you have a blueprint to move forward the rest of your life with.
Exactly.
I taught you how to fish.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And I'd say, after recovering from that, in the last month or two, I'd say probably has been my most dramatic increase in terms of health. I go to the bathroom twice a day.
Wow.
And it's I have a fairly long commute to work. Don't have to worry about, I gotta stop or whatever, anything like that. I get through the whole work day, not have to worry about it. I get in the car for an hour and a half ride home and don't have to worry about it. And then even when I get home, I don't have to worry. I mean, it's just that worry and the anxiety about it is gone.
So you got a life change. You've got a future. You've got peace of mind. And your body totally changed. Look at you.
Yeah. I think I've lost a total of 45 pounds.
That's great.
Probably maybe 50.
That alone has
about 45 pounds.
Yeah, that alone has major health benefits.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like I can go upstairs and not be out of breath. I can actually go and run. I signed up for a 5K at the end of the month.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've been training for that, and I can complete miles of running, which I never even dreamed of in my whole life ever. What else? There's just tons of stuff. I've gone out trips with my friends. Weekend stuff. going to concerts again, things like that I've really missed. Just feeling better, but at the same time, I've had those spurts where I felt better before and I would slacken, but now it's like there's no need because I have the tools.
Right.
I know what to do now.
Yeah.
I take the vitamins, I take the supplements, and it helps. Like,
so what would you say to others who have similar problems? Do you think they might
well,
think they should check it out, perhaps?
definitely. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to check it out.
Right.
To at least come in and just talk with them. Even just that stage, not necessarily, have to go forward and get the testing. But I would recommend that, just the initial stuff, just to see like, hey, this is really where you're at on paper, and this is what I doubt your medical doctor is going to be telling you, because I've seen probably 4 or 5 medical doctors and specialists for this, and I never got any advice, anything that I've gotten from Dr. Johnson. Everything I've had to do with them was, this is what you have. I got to see the next patient. I'm in there for 5 minutes, and that's it. Next guy, see you later. And I was left to do everything on my own. Like all my trust in them has, really lessened. From when I was, young. It's like, oh, the doctors know everything, which, they have a tough job too, because ultimately, it's a business for them too, and things like that. And the more patients they see, the better things are going to be. And they try really hard, but and not like your medical doctor, your family doctor, he's got to have like a general sense about everything, and he might not know, so he sends you to a specialist, and the specialist specializes in that area, but he might not know everything else that's going on with you in the broad sense. So they're just treating the disease and not the person.
Right. That's the big key.
Just the symptoms. And sadly, the majority of the United States and the population, they just want the symptoms treated. They want it to be as easy as possible. Take a pill and be done with it. But for me, I never got better doing it that way. So I decided I'm just going to change my life.
Well, good. Well, thanks for that share. That was fantastic.
I hope I got a good amount of information, at least from my standpoint.
Oh, you did a great job. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.